You ever walk into a place and just know you're being judged before you say a word? It was a Tuesday morning. Sunny, quiet, the kind of morning where even the breeze felt polite. A woman walked into the newly acquired branch of Brightmoor Federal Bank in Fairgrove, Ohio. She was Alanino entourage, no flashy car out front, no assistant carrying her coat. Just a structured black leather tote on her shoulder, and the kind of calm that makes people turn their heads without knowing why. Her name was Celeste Monroe, 44 years old. Skin like polished walnut, natural curls pulled into a low bun, black slacks, navy blouse, and gold hoop earrings that caught the light every time she turned. Her walk? Steady. Controlled. She didn't walk like she needed to prove anything. And that's exactly what made folks uneasy. No one greeted her. Not the young guy at the front with the lanyard. Not the two tellers behind the counter. One of whom a woman with a tight blonde bun and sharper lipstick glanced up for all of half a second before going back to her clipboard. Celeste stepped to the business services desk. The woman behind it, name tag reading Brenda, barely looked up. "I'm here to check on the transition paperwork for the commercial accounts," Celeste said, calm as ever. "Our firm completed the acquisition last week, and I just wanted to make sure everything's in place before Friday's review." Brenda chuckled, not the kind of chuckle you laugh with, but the kind that says, "Who do you think you are?" Then she replied, "You'll need an appointment. We don't just handle those things at the counter." Celeste didn't flinch. "I called yesterday. They said Garrett would be in between 9 and noon. "Garrett's not in yet," Brenda said, eyes already back on the screen. "You can have a seat." No one asked her name. No one offered her coffee. No one smiled. She sat by the window, hands folded, legs crossed at the ankle, spine straight against the cold plastic of the lobby chair. Her face didn't give away much, but inside she was clocking everything: the man in golf gear who came in after her and was greeted by name, the middle-aged woman in the pink trench coat who was ushered ahead with a laugh and a compliment. Brenda, meanwhile, tapped her acrylics on the counter in rhythm to nothing, like time didn't apply to her. Celeste had felt this before. It wasn't overt hatred, no slurs, no shouting. It was that thin, invisible sheet of contempt, cold politeness, professional brush-offs, the assumption that you don't belong. The kind of treatment people serve with a smile, so they can deny it later. She glanced at the clock, 9:22. Her phone buzzed. A message from Everett, her chief operations officer. "All good at the Fairgrove branch." Celeste stared at the screen for a beat. She could have said yes. Could have played it off like usual. But something in her chest tightened. Something she hadn't felt in years. That old acreage, maybe, or just tired dignity. She typed back, "Give me 10 minutes. And right then, just as she slid her phone away, she heard it low, sharp, right behind the glass. "Not sure why she's still sitting here," Brenda said, with that mean girl smirk in her voice. "She's not even dressed for the executive suite." Someone laughed. "Please. Probably just here to pitch a fundraiser." Celeste didn't move. Not right away, but the heat started in her ears. And then it crawled down to her chest. She'd heard worse, sure. But today, she wasn't in the mood to let it slide. She stood and walked back to the counter. "Excuse me," she said, voice even but firmer now. "Has Garrett arrived?" Brenda looked up, sighed. "Still not in. I told you I'll call when someone's ready." "No problem," Celeste said with a half smile. "I'll find someone myself." And she walked, past the counter, toward the hallway. That's when a younger employee, headset, tablet in hand, stepped in front of her. "Hi, ma'am. Can I help you?" Celeste didn't blink. "I'm looking for Garrett. Or whoever's handling commercial account reviews today. I called ahead." "Sure. And your name?" "Celeste Monroe." Pause. Recognition hit like a jolt. The young woman straightened, cleared her throat. "Yes, of course, Miss Monroe. I'll notify our branch manager immediately." Celeste nodded, turned back to the lobby, and sat. 5 minutes later, the glass doors swung open again. And just like that, the entire temperature of the room changed. In walked Thomas Granger, the regional director. Silver hair, navy suit, not a hair out of place. The kind of man who never visits a branch unannounced. He spotted Celeste immediately. "Miss Monroe," he said. She stood. "Thomas." And now, the entire staff was watching. Brenda's face dropped. The other employees suddenly remembered their posture. Thomas asked, "May we speak privately?" Celeste didn't move. "We can speak here." Thomas hesitated, then turned to the staff. Everyone on this floor into the conference room. Now. Brenda started to say something but stopped when she saw his eyes. Inside the glass room, the staff sat in rows like kids about to be scolded. Celeste didn't follow them. She stayed in the lobby, cool as the marble floor under her feet. Get Everett on the line, she said quietly. Thomas made the call. She waited. Then she spoke, not loud, not angry. Just clear. I'm not here to embarrass anyone, she said, eyes steady on the glass room. But if people can't treat clients with basic decency, they have no place in a company that bears my name. Just then, Garrett arrived, shirt wrinkled, face red from running in. Miss Monroe, I had no idea you were. It's handled, she said. And that was that. She walked into the conference room. I came here today representing Monroe Capital Holdings, she said. We acquired this institution last Friday. I've been visiting several branches this week. Every visit until now has been professional, some even warm. But this branch. She paused. I sat in your lobby for 30 minutes. I was ignored, belittled, and talked about like I didn't matter. And none of you knew who I was. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is how you treated someone you thought was nobody. Then she looked directly at Brenda. You said I didn't look like I belonged in the suite. Can you explain that? Brenda didn't answer. Celeste pulled out her phone. One tap. Effective immediately, she said. Brenda Holloway, Curtis Franks, and Amy Patel, your employment with this branch is terminated. You'll receive formal notice from HR by noon. Security access is revoked. One of them whispered, Wait, what? Yes, Celeste replied. Because how you treat people when you think no one's watching matters. Then she turned to Thomas. Everyone else stays. Retraining begins this afternoon. I want a full report by Friday. Jasmine, she turned to the young woman in the headset. You handled this with grace. You'll be hearing from HR as well. In a good way. Outside the room, the staff sat stunned. Thomas addressed the rest. She's gone, but this doesn't end here. She didn't fire half the branch because she was angry. She did it because we allowed a culture where that kind of behavior felt normal. Later, Celeste pulled Jasmine aside. You ever consider leadership development? She asked. I'd like to, Jasmine said. You'll get the opportunity. That afternoon, at another branch across town, Celeste walked in a Gano title, no heads up. This time, she was greeted with a smile, a handshake, and a genuine, How can we help you today? And that was all she ever asked for. The next morning, Fairgrove branch opened late. A sign on the door read, Closed for internal reorganization. Inside, everything had changed. And outside, people were still talking. Because the story didn't end with 3 firings and a training memo. It sparked something deeper. It made folks ask, why did she have to reveal who she was to be treated with respect? And maybe that's the question I leave you with. Does respect only belong to the powerful? Should it be the price of admission for anyone who walks through the door? Let us know what you think in the comments. Have you ever seen this happen in real life? Would you have done what she did? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this, because sometimes the smallest moments say the most about who we really are.